back and revisit any information, we'll be able to do that. So we have a lot of you on the call today. If you're able to share your lovely faces, please do so. We hope that we'll be able to see you because we're excited to meet you. And some of you we already know, obviously, but some of you are brand new to the GEMS camp, and we would love to see your faces if you can. So welcome, welcome. If you are returning GEM, hey, it's nice to see you again. We're looking forward to seeing all of you very, very shortly. So for those who don't know me, my name is Ms. Saki Milton. I'm the founder and executive director of the GEMS camp. And I'm very excited to be here with you today. We have quite a bit of information to get through. So we want to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. We also have some very special guests with us to go over some important information. Parents, we're asking if you have questions, please utilize the chat feature. We'll be monitoring that as well. And we'll go ahead and get started. So Anika, if you could move forward. And Allison, I'm going to ask if you could just monitor the waiting room and letting people in, if you don't mind. All right, so our agenda is pretty simple. The norms, we just, again, have your screens on if you can. Ladies, share your voice, meaning if you have a question in the back of your mind, chances are somebody else probably has that question, so just put it in the chat. If you want to come off mute and ask a specific question, we'll allow time for that, but we just ask you to limit your talk time to no more than 2 minutes so that we can hear from everyone. And then, of course, keep your mics on mute until it's time to speak so that we can make sure that we hear everyone and no information goes missing. So let's go ahead and keep it going. All right, I'm going to allow the team to introduce themselves. So we'll start out with our site director, Ms. Ruby Hove.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ruby Hove. I'm a proud alumni of Dallas ISD. I just wrapped up my 4th year as assistant principal in Dallas ISD. I'm currently at the Montessori Academy at Onésimo Hernandez. It's a pre-K through 8 public Montessori campus. I've been in education for over 10 years, and my passion is definitely working with children, but also coaching adults and young women to help empower all of the communities and the children that we serve. So this is my first year serving at the GEMS camp, and as site director, I'm very excited to be part of such a great organization. And then I will pass it on to Anika.
Hey y'all, my name is Annika, and I have been with the GEMS camp since 2017, but I started volunteering in 2021. I will be serving as volunteer coordinator for the first time this year, and I'm currently an incoming freshman at Texas A&M, and I'll be studying computer engineering. I'll hand it over to Ms. Maritza.
I'm not sure if Maritza's on just yet, so let's go ahead and toss it over to Betsy.
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure if you can see me, but my name is Betsy. I am a senior volunteer coordinator, and I just recently graduated from the University of North Texas with my degree in biology. So I'm so excited to be here. I've been here since 2017, so super happy to see you guys.
Okay, and then Allison, you want to introduce yourself, ma'am?
Hi everyone, I'm Allison Gonzalez, and I have been with the GEMS camp since 2021 as a camper and now lead intern. And I'm so excited to see you guys. For some of you, continue your GEMS journey, and for most of you to start your GEMS journey and to follow this path that the rest of us have been on.
Thank you. So this is your team, everyone, the leadership team. It's a wonderful group of women and young ladies, and you can see the experience has really, really varied. I'm really excited about this group. Obviously, we have the leadership experience of Ms. Hove, who is a public school administrator who brings a tremendous amount of experience, and then Maritza, who's going to really be another residential guru and support. And I'm just excited about Annika, Betsy, and Allison because they've been with us for a really long time, and I've enjoyed watching them grow up from high school, middle school, and now, into college and now applying for graduate school and things like that. So welcome, welcome. Annika, let's go ahead and take a look at our mentors.
So I don't want to go through every single person's name, but I wanted to really highlight the fact that a lot of these girls are returners and they've had multiple years of experience, some with 5 or 4. Some of these girls have been with us since 6th grade even. And I think they're a really well-rounded, very experienced group. And I think your girls will be in capable hands.
And yes, they will.
All right. I also want to introduce our 5K instructors. This year, we have a lot of talent on our team. We're not only offering these courses to the GEMs in the field of integrated math and data science, but all of our teachers are going to be able to work with the girls for at least 2 hours in each content this summer. And all of our instructors are fully certified in public education. We also have 3 amazing counselors joining us. They are all licensed in the state of Texas, and we're really excited just about the level of experience and excitement that they bring to our camp.
Awesome. Well, now we're going to turn it over to a very special guest. We're going to dive deeper into our presentation regarding research. So Annika, if you can just go ahead and move forward in the slide. We have, ladies and gentlemen, with us Dr. Candace Walkington from Southern Methodist University. Candace, just give me a second to put you on spotlight so we can see you there. And she's going to be talking about some exciting research opportunities that she has going. This is my advisor in my program, and she is literally a world-renowned researcher. So Candace, welcome to the GEMS Camp, and we look forward to you sharing your information with our families tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. This is my 2nd year working with the GEMS Camp, and it's been an amazing experience getting to work with your girls on research. So at Southern Methodist University, we conduct research on effective approaches for teaching math using the very latest technologies. So we have 2 research studies that girls this year will have the opportunity to participate in. And the first opportunity that I'm going to talk about is for the campers who are going into 9th grade. We're specifically interested in students who are about to start high school. And they're going to have a chance to use the Microsoft HoloLens AR goggles. So these are goggles that you put on and you can see holograms all around you. And they track your hands such that you can interact with and move the holograms. And we have funding from the US Department of Education to look into the educational applications of these goggles. These goggles are widely used by the US military and in a variety of industry settings. So for this study, all you have to do for your student to participate is to fill out the consent form. I just put the link to it in chat. You can also use the QR code to bring it up. Though there will be a chance at check-in too, but the sooner y'all sign up, the better. And for this one, if your girl participates in it, it'll take about an hour. It'll be during the GEMS Camp, and they'll get a $25 gift card as our thank you for helping us to design our app for the AR goggles, which is about geometry learning. So we tested the app with a bunch of GEMS girls this past fall, and it was really wonderful to get their feedback and to do some redesign based on it. And yes, this is for the incoming 9th graders only. So do y'all have any questions? I'll check out the chat, or however y'all want to ask about this study.
Do any of the 9th grade families and Candace, the mentors, the other high schoolers are not on this call. You'll have the chance to talk with them on next Saturday.
Okay, perfect.
Any questions?
Well, y'all can keep in the chat if you have any questions, just put them there and I'll talk about the next study. So this study is for all of the GEMS campers. Some of y'all might have heard about ChatGPT and other kinds of generative AI programs that have emerged over the last year. And we're really interested in giving the girls some exposure to these technologies and teaching them about kind of ethical use of these technologies. So this research study is for all of the girls. And it would involve them using ChatGPT as well as image generating AIs. So it's been less reported on, but there's also AI programs where you tell it what you want it to draw and it draws it for you, basically, and it can do all sorts of different forms of art. It's really cool. It's like the text ones, but for drawing. So we want to give the girls some experiences with these new AI programs and to learn about them. We're going to be collecting data on how they engage with the AIs, and like what people should think about when they want to do these kinds of activities with girls, because nobody has a good idea of how to use these for education yet because they're so new. So it's a really exciting area of research, and an exciting thing to get to kind of start to expose girls interested in STEM too, because they're going to be a really big part of STEM fields. So I put the link for that study in the chat, and you can do the link, you can do the QR code, or yeah, and let me know if y'all have any questions about that study too.
Okay, we have her for a couple more minutes. So any parents, do you have any questions about any of those studies or what's required for participation? Again, you will be compensated with a gift card for your participation. And let me just kind of emphasize, like a lot of times education and research really have sometimes hard time finding diverse participants. So it's really important when we have the opportunity to give our input on developing technologies and things like that, that we take that into consideration and let our voices be part of the process. So I strongly encourage everyone. I can't require anyone to do anything, but this is a great opportunity. And again, Dr. Walkington and her team are really amazing with students. So we hope that you will take advantage of both of these opportunities.
We work with a lot of tech developers like Apple and Microsoft, so it really is like getting your voices and your feedback to, you know, the people who are creating the next generation of these technologies. So let me know if y'all have any questions. My contact info is on both forms, and I'm happy to follow up with any of you. Yes, so that is a great question. In the first study, they would be pulled for 1 hour and they would miss the activities during that 1 hour. That's part of the reason we're offering the gift card for the first study. In the second study, they wouldn't miss any activities. It's integrated in to the curriculum. Pull it apart into the chat.
Good question. Did anyone else have any questions? I think we got someone off unmuted, a hot mic there. Did anyone else have any other questions? That was a really good question. Dr. Walkington, when would you like the consent forms? I mean, I know you said obviously the sooner the better. Is there a cutoff date that would be ideal for you? We can try to just send some reminders and help out on that front.
I'll just say that like priority for the geometry study would be given to ones that are filled out like before the camp starts. That's really the only differentiation we're going to make. We may still have some for you to sign up like once the camp starts, but doing for the geometry study, the slots are more limited. So doing it in advance is probably better. For the other study, there's not the same issue with the slots being limited. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to participating in both studies.
Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, everybody, we're going to keep moving along in our agenda. We say thank you to Dr. Walkington for taking out her time to join us. I believe next is me. I'm just going to quickly talk about, the mission, why we're here. And a little bit of the history. We're not going to go in depth and how you can engage with us. So I like to have all of our students, and you'll get accustomed to this during the week, is we all like to say the mission statement in unison so that we can be on one accord and really remind ourselves like why we are coming together in the name of STEM. So on a count of 3, you don't have to come off mute, but just kind of say it with me. 1, 2, 3. The mission of the GEMS Camp is to change the face of those who can access and excel in STEM studies and careers. We do this by building confidence in urban teen girls in 5 core areas we call the 5 carat gems: academics, career, creativity, leadership, and service. You'll get really accustomed to saying that, and I hope that it starts to resonate in your heart, because we do know there's a huge problem with not having enough women in STEM, and this is one solution that that I thought of. And then you can actually go ahead and go to the next slide. This was kind of like my baby project, learning from my students in math class, just watching girls every year. I got to move up with my kids and observing them. And so this is why I created the camp. I wanted a space where, girls didn't have to feel intimidated or feel different. And these are just regular observations in the classroom. And I wanted, especially girls of color, to feel like you can show up as your authentic selves. You wouldn't have any like pressures to be different where you couldn't be yourself. And that's really important to me. So just a little bit about the history. This started again as a Saturday project in 2010, and we've evolved into a week-long day camp. And that was fun, where parents you dropped off and picked up. And then eventually in 2017, we piloted this kind of retreat model and was like, yeah, I can do overnight. I can do an overnight camp. And really just worked with the University of North Texas at Dallas, which is where Annika and Betsy were part of for a long time. And that's where we started our first overnight residential. We've been doing residential since then. Once the pandemic hit, we did move to a virtual program, and then we did a virtual and in-person program, 2021, 2022. And this year we're all back in person. I'm super excited about that. And we just like to have a good time as we learn. We do other programs. We have a travel program that's starting back up very soon, so I'm excited about that, where we will be going to Tanzania, Africa in 2024. You have to be a certain age to even apply to that, so don't get too excited. And then we also partner with different organizations. We have an I Lead in STEM program that we work with. We have a MoneyWise financial literacy program partnering with Charles Schwab. We're getting ready to start an after-school program in South Dallas at the MLK Center. And so I'm really excited. And then last week was our first time to actually allow a university to run their own GEMS camp. And that was at Texas Southern University, where they used all of our resources, our brand, and everything like that. And I was just there more or less as a guide to them and that team. So that's a little bit of history. Yay. You can also engage with us, parents. If you, we encourage you to keep up with us on our social media channels. So Annika, if you can move forward to that next slide, we will, you'll be able to see some of the posts that are coming out during the week as we're having fun in camp. And yeah, you'll just be able to keep up with all of the activities. So very, very excited about that. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to start talking a little bit about safety now. So Annika, if you could go to the next slide. We have another very special guest with us. We have Vice Chancellor Adrian Andrews, Vice Chancellor of Public Safety at Texas Christian University, because we know that some of you parents have not been to a sleepaway camp yet. So we just want to talk safety with Vice Chancellor Andrews, and we're going to give him the floor so he can really hit home with safety and what they do at Texas Christian University. So thank you, Mr. Andrews, for joining us.
Director Milton, it's an honor and a privilege to speak to your association. We have worked together for the last couple of years, and it's always been an honor to work with brilliant, beautiful, smart women. It's like being at my home. My mom, my wife, who is an emergency room doctor, my daughter, who's amazing. So you guys make me feel right at home, even though I'm the only guy here. So anyway, let's talk about Texas Christian University. Our plan is to make sure that you stay safe while you are here. TCU has its own police department. 90% of our police come from the Fort Worth Police Department. They've retired, and they are here now, and they're amazing. They are absolutely amazing. They come from different parts of the Fort Worth Police Department, but they're amazing. We have 31 full-time officers and about 20 part-time officers, and they're 24/7. If I don't give you anything else, let me give you the telephone number for our police department. It's 817-257-7777. You get a little theme there. We like sevens. 817-257-7777. Call that 24 hours a day. Now, while you guys are here, you'll be in one of our residence halls. You may see our officers driving around in their vehicles. They have black and white cruisers all over campus. And they also ride bicycles, and they also do walking escorts as well. If there is a need to get around campus after hours and it's too dark and you do not feel safe, call that number. Our officers will come and pick you up and take you someplace. If it's a small group, if we need more police cars, we'll get them. Our main goal is to make sure that you stay safe while you're here so that you can do incredible things in the future. We have all of our campus is decorated with those security blue light phones that you can hit the button. You will be talking to a dispatcher from the TCU Police Department, and then we'll make sure that we get someone there. Now, Frog Shield, this app is amazing. I need everyone within the sound of my voice to download this app. It's amazing. It's like having one of those blue light towers in your pocket. You download this, you swipe it if you need the police are coming. Okay, what they will do is our dispatcher will give you a call to make sure it's not an accident, because that happens, and then we just call them off. But if you don't answer, the police are arriving. It tracks off the GPS outside. Indoors, it tracks off of the Wi-Fi system, so we can tell what floor you're on, what room you're in, the whole 9 yards. It does not track you unless you swipe it, saying that you are in an emergency. Okay, so you have that going on as well. And we also, Frog Shield's amazing. There's other things there that will show you foundations or blueprints for some of our buildings, so that we educate all of our students on what to do during a lockdown, an evacuation, or a seek shelter. While you're on our campus, if any of those things happen, a life-threatening situation, a lockdown situation, evacuation, or seek shelter, it will come out over loudspeakers, indoor speakers, text messages through Frog Shield, so that you'll know what's going on. And for the parents who are not on campus, if you download Frog Shield and your child gets a message, you will get that message as well wherever you are. So we like that app, and we hope that you would never use it, but we just want to make sure that you are safe while you're here on our campus. Any questions about anything as far as security related? I see that we got the chat going, but if anybody wants to unmute and talk to me, that's fine as well.
Yes, please come off mute, or you can just raise your hand. But listen, we got him here. So I know you all have questions, so please don't be shy. While we have Mr. Andrews present, then this is the great time to get it straight from the horse's mouth, as we
get it all out now. Here's the thing: at night, you'll notice that our lighting on campus is pretty amazing as well, and I do that on purpose. I have 4 interns every semester, and at least 2 of those 4 interns are females, and I send the females out to do the project of campus lighting and safety. Why? Well, because males, young men, it doesn't matter what time of night, they'll walk this campus 24/7 and don't think anything of it. But the young ladies, they usually have to make a plan or make sure their girlfriend is going with them and those kind of things. And I don't want that to be something that we're known for. Our largest audience, our biggest customer are women. 62% of my campus is female. So I really have an interest, and I have a daughter that is a little bit older than most of you. So I do look at it from a perspective of how the women look at this campus at night. And if you find something that is on our campus that seems unsafe and it needs more lighting, please let me know. But we do that on a semesterly basis where they go out there and they walk the campus to make sure that I tell them, go find the creepy spots where you don't feel safe. And I think that we have all of the creepy spots taken care of. We have proper lighting, but let us know if you do run up against something like that. Okay, what do we do if we don't have an emergency, but we want to report something suspicious or concerning? I love that question. Here's the deal. Don't worry about that. Let us go and deal with whatever. If something does not seem right and you want to call, they're going to ask you a question though. They're not going to say, what does they're going to ask them, what is the person doing? You can't just call and say, well, I saw a black male, Hispanic male, white male, and he was walking. You got to tell us what they were doing. So if they're checking car doors, if they're being rude to young ladies and calling out their names or whatever, call us. Let us know that. We will have an officer there within a minute to make sure that we address that issue. We do not play that. TCU is a private property, it's a private college, it's private property. If you come on our campus and you are nice, you are respectful, you can stay. But if you come here and you cause any kind of trouble to anybody who's on our campus, we will arrest you and take you away from here. So we will not tolerate that. So thank you for asking that question. Even if you don't know if it's an emergency, if it's just something that's suspicious, please give us a call at that number that I asked you there, or to swipe the Frog Shield app and report that to the police. Okay, will the girls actually have time when they aren't in the groups, or does? Okay, I'm sorry, that question wasn't for me. Let me see what else.
Yeah,
Any
that's
other
more
safety
for us.
questions?
Does anyone, thank you, Miss Loretta, Miss Davis, for that question. We're going to be addressing that one later. Does anyone have anything specific to Mr. Andrews, just with Frog Shield, anything like that? We want to make sure that everyone is clear on the protocols and how these officers will be looking out for our staff and students.
And Director Milton, if you get to the point where you just want to have an officer come by and address some ladies or just walk through the building, call that number. Tell them that Mr. Andrews said that if you wanted someone to walk through the building or whatever, to do that, and we'll make it happen.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andrews. This is Ruby Hove, site director. We've been in communication. Thank you so much. I know that for parents, it's very hard having their treasures away from home, and
Yes.
it's very difficult change. So this helps us stay connected and feel safe, know what's going on in the campus. So thank you so much for your time and your support.
Hey, well, listen, thank you so much. I hope that you ladies come here every year. I hope that you discover something brilliant and great here while you're at TCU, and give us a little credit. But thank you guys for inviting me, and I hope you have a great time while you're on the campus.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now
you.
I'm going to shift over to our medical emergencies. I know some of you had some very specific questions about it, so I'm going to go over some protocols and procedures that we have set in place as the GEMS camp, but also tying to the safety plans that we have at TCU. So for a medical emergency, in the case that there is an emergency, if it's an extreme, like if it's a true emergency, dial 911 first. If it's a life-threatening situation, then notify me.
Oh, Ruby, we just lost your audio. I think you hit mute on accident.
Okay, can you hear me
There you go. Yeah.
Great. So again, dial 911 first and then reach out to me. I will be sharing my phone number at the end of the slides so that you can notify me immediately after you have called 911. And then give the following information to the dispatcher. So the exact location, if you know where you are at, if it's our residence hall or a dining facility, please name who the individual is needing assistance, what their symptoms are, what is the injury sustained, or if you have any information of the name of the individual, that'd be great information. Next slide. In the case of a fire, let's say you come in contact with the fire, you need to activate the alarm, notify me directly, and then we can decide about calling 911. Either you or I call 911. We will close all the doors. Do not lock the doors or open the door again. We want to make sure we confine the space and we don't have more oxygen in there. You will hear a loud chirping sound, flashing lights from the fire alarm. And then if you have just immediately within reach any personal items, take them with you, but do not pack a bag. Our biggest priority is that you are safe and that you get out of the building with the nearest exit in an orderly manner. So do not use elevators. If you're exiting.
Oh, Ruby, you click mute again.
Thank you. I think it's when people are trying to come in. I think it just mutes me. I'm so sorry. So let me pick up again on you should not take the elevators during a fire drill. I'm sorry, a fire emergency. Make sure you exit the building and you are at least 300 feet away from the building itself. That is our safety evacuation line. If the alarms are silenced, that does not signal that you can re-enter the building. You cannot come into the building again until the proper authorities have told us that it is all clear. Next slide, please. In the case of inclement weather or shelter in place, if the inclement weather warnings are sounding like for a tornado or some kind of alert, the site director, which is myself, I'll alert the students and their parents. I will let the volunteer coordinators know so that we can start passing that communication forward. In the case of inclement weather while on the campus, there are places that are considered shelter in place. So we will go to those locations. You should leave all your items. Again, we're not packing for these emergencies. We're just moving to the designated areas as quickly as possible to be safe. All alarms should be considered authentic. So if you start hearing the tornado warnings, just know that the communication is coming and we're all going to go to the safe space. Next slide. And then we also have intruders or anytime that there's a lockdown. If you see someone with a weapon on the campus or you are told that someone has a weapon, dial 911 and give the officer all the information that you can, the exact location, any persons involved. Please do not approach the person or inquire about the weapon or the circumstances. Just immediately evacuate and then let someone know. This is where Frog Shield really comes into play. And then all the staff is going to go to a designated area, lock away the entrances, get locked up in the rooms, shut the blinds, hide, stay quiet. And so we'll determine all those things depending on what the situation is. Okay. Okay, so now we're moving into expectations. And for us, the expectation is that we just always communicate clear and direct at all times in order just to have the best experience and operate efficiently and offer everybody the same kindness, courtesy, and respect. So if there is ever a conflict or a problem, make sure that you notify a volunteer coordinator and or me, the site director, so that we can resolve the issues. That goes for parents as well. There's open communication. We will be sharing a parent group me that you can always reach me at so that we address the things and nip it in the bud right when the concern happens and that we all have a pleasant experience. We also want to follow the code of conduct. So we are very cognizant that we are at the TCU campus and we want to make sure that we show excellence in everything that we do. And we do that by showing respect for not only the property, but the facility, our peers, and everyone that is involved with the camp. We respect all guests and anyone that we interact with. We make sure that we're mindful of the space because we're here for this learning opportunity and we have that positive attitude. That means showing up on time. That means coming in the uniform that's assigned or designated for that day, and then making sure that you're there ready to learn, ready to have fun, and to engage with the instructors and volunteers. And so we do have a dress code. We are required to wear the GEMS Camp t-shirt that will be provided to you with the name badge as part of your uniform. We also want to make sure that you have appropriate bottoms. So if you wear, I know it's really hot in Texas and we're hitting 100 degrees, but we have to be mindful too, right? We want to make sure that we are not 3 inches above the knee when we wear any kind of clothing, because, you know, we want to look professional and appropriate. Now, if for some reason we are doing an activity that requires us to change the wardrobe, I will let you know, or Ms. Saki, the executive director, will let you know how the dress code will adjust for that specific event. Remember that all open-toed shoes must have a strap just for safety. And I know it's really hot, so if you're going to wear those cute sandals, make sure they have a little strap. Next slide.
For attendance, we give one unexcused or excused absence, and we require 48 hours of notice, either through an email to Ms. Hove or Misaki, and also forward it to info@the GEMS camp. Again, we expect that your student would be able to attend the whole duration of camp, but we also know that there are some unseen circumstances or just exceeding circumstances, but we really require that notice before that happens.
So these are just some basic daily check-in and check-out procedures that will happen daily. Check-in, everyone's in the lobby by 7:15 and they will check in with their assigned mentor. There will be daily COVID temperature checks. And daily checkout, feedback forms will be sent to parents by your student's mentor. All GEMs have to be in their rooms by 9 p.m. and lights out by 10 p.m. The mentors will take turns rotating and checking rooms to make sure girls are in bed. There will be tape on the doors to make sure no girls get out or into the rooms for safety. And GEMs will be released to their parents at the end of camp, which is at the graduation ceremony. And like Annika said, any early release has to be forwarded to info@thegemscamp.org. So just like the Connect with Us, there is digital usage. Gmail, which you got a notice of earlier, and Microsoft Teams both will be using your @thegemscamp emails. These will be for homework assignments, group projects, uploading any photos, and turning in assignments.
And I just want to hop in. If you have any issues with passwords, please go to Allison or me. Our information will be put at the end of the slides, but don't contact Nia because she won't be able to help you. And at the end of camp, we require a few things. Of course, we want to make sure that we're leaving any place better than we found it. So that means returning all of our property, like laptops and room keys. We want to make sure that everything is cleaned, and we will be providing trash bags to just help with that throughout the week. And just make sure you have all of your belongings, whatever you came with, make sure you take it back. If you, for some reason, need an early release of your gem, please make sure to send an email to Ms. Saki and Ms. Ruby, and also to info@thegemscamp.
So I see a question just really quickly about what would happen if a student were to get sick or something during camp and wouldn't be able to attend the day's activities. If you are running a fever, obviously it will be like a school situation, right? If you have a fever, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Hove, if you have a fever, you have to go home because that means you're contagious. Is that correct?
Yes, typically, even in a school building, you wouldn't return within 24 hours.
So that's the case. That I hope that answers your question there. If you don't have a fever, maybe you're just not feeling well. We you know, that happens. So some kids get heat exhaustion, some kids just, you know, diabetic, different types of medical conditions. It's okay to go to your room. We'll send somebody with you just to kind of make sure you're okay. And then when you're feeling up to, you can return to the activities.
I just saw a question talking about someone to speak about taping the doors at night. So, in the past, we do this for safety, just to make sure that none of our girls have gone out without any supervision. So, yes, we will be taping the door after designated hours, which I believe are from 9 to 10. That's whenever everybody will go back to their room, just to make sure that everyone's safe in their room, and they can still chit chat, do whatever they need to do, but they need to make sure that they're ready for tomorrow, for the next day. But yes, we will be taping the door, but it's all for safety for our girls, okay?
Thank you, Betsy. Ruby, you want to respond to that next question in the chat? How's it handled in case of an emergency?
Yes. So in the case of an emergency, I'm only a call away. I will be the resident on one of the floors. We plan to have a dorm resident on each level to ensure that anybody who is on that level has a key card access to get in and out of the building in the case that there's an emergency. We have to meet up with parents. They will inform me directly so that I can make the decision. Is this something that requires us to call 911? Also, we do have our staff strategically placed at the end of the halls to make sure that, in the case that there's an emergency, we can get to them quickly. So we do have a lot of touch points. And again, with the tape, that's just to create a seal to let us know. We can't monitor them 24/7 just because we're asleep also. We'll be doing sweeps in the night, but the tape lets us know if someone was able to sneak out. There are restrooms already within the dorms, so there really should be no need for the girls to step out. If there is an emergency, if they do need something for any reason, they can call me. Like I said, I am right there on the same floor with them, and so we can handle it just depending on what the emergency is.
Are there any other questions before we move forward? Okay, if you have questions, you can come off mute and just ask your questions, because there's a lot of people on the screen. We can't see you all. If you have, I think someone's trying to speak. Oh.
Okay, it's us here. We have a problem with our unmute button.
Okay.
Question about supervision, and I guess partners are required to partner with someone at all times. Do you have a group of 2 or 3 or 4? What's the situation for that, please?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Hove.
So earlier someone asked if there will be time that was free. Yes, there is some time that is free. Between 7 and 8:30 p.m. there is a little chunk of time. Now, it is good practice to always be with that mentor or that volunteer coordinator that designates with those girls. So although it may be unstructured time, it is still monitored time for safety.
Looks like there's a question in the chat regarding shirts. You only have to wear your shirt on the first day of instruction and the last day when we have our field trip. We'll talk a little bit about that. There is a washing facility within the dorm room. I mean, not in the dorm room, sorry, the dormitory. So we'll take that responsibility and wash the shirts so that they're ready to go for Friday. Will they be choosing their dorm mates? Go ahead, Ms. Ove.
Yes. So our intention this year is that we have a lot of girls coming from different cities or different districts. And so we really want to make sure that this is not only a chance for them to explore the GEMS camp, but also to network and break out of their shell. For that reason, we will be pairing what is a pot of 4 with at least one common person from your same district or city, but the other 2 people will probably not be the same. So I don't want to just have everyone in a pod be the same people that you're going to just gravitate towards naturally. We want to make sure that you're mingling and, networking throughout the whole camp.
Yeah, And yeah, this dorm is a little bit, different because you kind of have this connection, and we'll talk about that later. But we really do take roommates seriously. We know it's a part of the fun, of being in a dorm. But just like I just want to reiterate what Ms. Hove said, because number one priority is safety, right? And then number two priority is just ensuring that all the girls are building their independence and really fostering that. So it's a long process that we have to go through, and TCU is very specific regarding room assignments. So once we fill that form out and you are assigned a room number, there is no changing after we go through that process, because it's $100 for any change we make after after we submit that form. So it takes quite a few days for us to get through it all. Yeah. Any other questions on anything we've covered so far? Because I think Allison has a little bit of fun for us. Miss Ove, there's another question with phones.
Hi, yes, phones are allowed, but you do need to tame your technology when we are in sessions, just because we need full engagement when we are learning and we're doing our bling. So yes, have your phone, definitely when you go to lunch, when you have your free time, and just when you travel throughout the spaces, just because, as you saw, Frog Shield is our way to contact in the case of an emergency. But again, one of the things that our mentees, our mentors are going to be looking for is engagement. And so that means that that cell phone is out of sight, in the pocket, and, not tempting you to check your TikToks or, your Twitter.
Yes, so phones are allowed. And I'll just stress something, like, I am trying to be a little bit more hands off with the GEMS camp and really focus on big picture things. But I am there, and I do like to still hang out with the girls, eat with them. One of my pet peeves, I will say this, is if you're having lunch at a table of young people and all of you are on your phones, like, I'm probably going to have a comment to say, and just like, because you're not taking advantage of being in the moment with the people right around you. I think it's a really big problem in society altogether. So when it's something like that, someone might address you, but just in general, no. Like, we all have our cell phones. Like, I have mine all the time. I check it regularly, so we get that. But just watch yourselves. Like, if you're sitting with someone and you're both on the phone, just think of how that looks. Like, walk up to someone passing by. It looks like, wow, what kind of camp is that? It looks like they're not having any fun. Everybody's on their phone. And so we don't, ever want you to feel like you can't be connected with the people right in front of you. Good question. All right, Allison, I think they're ready.
So I have prepared a fun Kahoot for everyone. It's only 5 questions. I'm sure most of you are familiar with how this works. So I'm just going to share it with you all.
And as she prepares to share her screen and the Kahoot, I just want to say really thank you to Allison, because she reached out in March just to like do some volunteer hours, and she was so good at volunteering. I couldn't give her enough things to do so quickly. And so she has done a phenomenal job, and she's become an intern during the school year, and she's going to stay on through the fall. So please show her some love and just appreciation for all that she's done to make all of these camps happen this summer. So just want to say that as she gets our Kahoot ready to rock and roll. Okay, let's get ready to join. Here we go.
Okay, so at this time, you can either go to your browser and go to www.kahoot.it and type in the game pin, or you can scan with your QR code.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start it, but you can join at any point throughout the game.
Can we have the Kahoot music?
Is it not working? I did share my sound.
You were on mute.
Oh, can you hear it now?
We can hear when you're not, when you're a guest. We can hear it now. We couldn't at first. Go Karis. Woohoo. Okay. Few more questions. Yes, we started out as a library. We were not always at a university campus. Yes, text messaging. We don't have a text messaging. We have a service that you all have been receiving text messages, but that's not the way. That's only to push out information. Thank you, Allison, for Kahooted. Let's see the results. All right. It's Yana? It's Yana? Then Madison. And it's Mina. Woo! Congratulations. Oh, sorry. Now we're going to have a little 5-minute brain break. So go ahead if you need to use the restroom or anything like that. We'll be back at right at 7:31. So we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Everywhere I'm turning, nothing seems. Me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay, and welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started back up with our orientation. Hope you had a good quick break. We'll try to get the link out. There's a question posed. Tomorrow we'll send out a follow-up newsletter. We are sending notifications to the emails on file. So whatever email you provided, some of you have changed your email accounts in those text messages, and we have updated that. So you should be receiving emails to the proper addresses. If not, just let us know. We'll get that updated for you. So quickly, I'm going to dive into the curriculum. And we'll also have Ruby, talk a little bit about the summer schedule and important dates. So we have a 5-carat curriculum, if you can go ahead and go forward, Annika. And first, I just want to talk about our 5-carat gems more in detail. The first one is academics. We focus on holistic programming. So we don't just do a lot of content with STEM. We focus on multiple areas of what it takes to develop into a woman of STEM. And so obviously academics, Algebra 1 readiness, et cetera, is quite important. This summer, we'll be previewing upcoming school year. So 7th graders, you'll see 8th grade content. Incoming 7th grade, you'll see some incoming 7th grade content for the school year. 8th graders, we focus on Algebra 1. 9th grade, we focus on geometry standards. We want to foster building and independent study habits, working together in small groups, and your mentors assigned to you will be doing that. Specifically, our content is going to be around your specific standards that are grade level appropriate, but we're really looking at what's the role of artificial intelligence. You'll be diving deep into some of those standards, and this is going to connect to our capstone, which I'm going to talk about here in a second with a mathematics education game you'll be developing. Okay, in terms of career, we have many different speakers who'll be coming, but this carrot is all about exposing you to STEM role models so that representation matters. We'll have some researchers, we'll have entrepreneurs, data scientists coming out this summer from the local area and interacting with girls through that. We also have a group of interns, and I'll talk about that later. All right, with creativity, our focus here is really around the more like your hands-on time where you really get to work in groups. Generally speaking, it's going to be your capstone project. And what we'll do there is have you work on problem-based learning, project-based learning, really working on your critical and creative thinking skills, as well as just learning how to work together, 21st century. This summer, you're going to be designing an educational math games concept, and you're going to be pitching it to an actual startup company. So get ready. I'm really excited about that task. Our next carrot is the leadership carrot, and this carrot is all about fostering your own development goals. All of you interviewed to be in this camp, and those of you who've been here before, you didn't have to obviously interview again, but that's done for a reason because each of you communicates, an area of strength that we ask you, and then we ask you for an area of development. So this is where we really get to pour into that, and our volunteers team, your mentors, actually lead these sessions. So there's none of us, Ms. Hove, I'm not around. It's purely on the mentors who will guide you through a series of activities to build your confidence and leadership skills. And then our last carrot is the service carrot, which is all about community service. Stay tuned for our project. We're still trying to finalize that, and I'm really excited about that. Every year it's a little bit different. We've done an orphanage, we've done an elderly living assistance, doing technology day, we've done a technology fair at a library. Last year we did an urban farm, so there are multiple opportunities to get involved. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hove, who's going to talk to you about some important dates as well as our summer schedule.
Thank you. Yes, so here's some important dates to note as GEMS and as parents. We do have student check-in coming very quickly. So on July 16th, that Sunday, between 4 and 5:30, we are meeting at the dorm hall that we will be situated in. Parents, please park directly across the street in the stadium lot. If you look on the screen, I hope I'm saying this right, Moncrief Hall? Is that how you say it? Okay, Moncrief Hall. Thank you for pointing it out. So directly across from it, you'll see that like gray blocked out area. That would be the stadium parking lot. We also have a showcase and graduation, and emails have been sent out. So make sure you RSVP for your spot if you plan to attend. That is Saturday, July 22nd, 10 to 1. And then finally, our student checkout, which is the end of our camp, that is going to be on Saturday, July 22nd, between 8 and 9. So please put those reminders on your phone so that you can pick up our gems and we don't have someone just kind of being the last person to get picked up from the camp, okay? Thank you so much. Moving on to the next slide. We know that there has been a lot of buzz around the schedule. I just want to emphasize that this is a simulation like of a college simulation, a college experience. As you can see, we have core classes embedded throughout. The core classes will be the same every day. The girls will travel mostly with their grade levels, with the exception of things like morning bling or those times that we have those mixers. I do want to note that our evening activities do vary every day. So that is where they will get out of their routine. We're meeting at the same time, but it will always be a different activity. For lunch, that time is very crucial. There are multiple camps going on at the same time. So we want to be mindful that the girls get to the dining hall on time, that they leave on time, because we are on that independence and that responsibility. We want to make sure we leave a great impression on the campus because we are all an extension of the GEMS camp. And so being timely and cleaning up after ourselves is very important. I also want you to notice that at the end of every day, the girls must be in their rooms by 9 p.m. Again, we do seal the door just to make sure if someone breaks the seal that we are aware of those things. We will have reminders going around that it is lights out at 10, so everyone gets the proper rest to be able to engage and be fully charged for the next day. The seal is just to ensure that people are not leaving their rooms through the night. Again, all the dorms do have access to what they need inside the dorm rooms. It's for campus safety. The dorms do lock. They require key card access at night. We cannot give a key card to anyone under the age of 18. So only the adults on the floor that are responsible will have that key card access. We don't expect to be in the need of using it. Again, we have very strategically placed the adults at the ends of the rooms, all those mentors, because we want to make sure that we have all eyes on keeping the girls safe, that we have all eyes on anybody going and entering that floor, and we alarm the proper people in case that someone does get in the building. To keep the campus safe, just as a reminder, we're all going to have that app on our phone to make sure that we keep you informed as well. Are there any questions about the schedule? I know there was quite a few questions earlier. No? Okay. Well, we'll also be able to answer some more questions at the end if more questions come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hove. Yes, please feel free to ask as many questions as possible. We'll leave some time at the end, but we're here to address any concerns and in the moment, right? So we do have a quite a nice selection of women who I've personally know or have networked with before who stand out in the Dallas-Fort Worth community, who will be speaking about their career paths. Dr. Walkington and some of the other professors from SMU who do education technology research will be our first group of panelists. And I think this is a really exciting panel, especially if you're maybe interested into teaching or going an education route. There are so many career paths other than just working in a school building. And so we're going to listen to their work. Stimuli is the startup company that will be judging the pitches and giving you input on your storyboards for your gaming concept. They are metaverse type of companies. So we'll have the CEO and a few representatives come out to that. She's actually a woman. I think she's the youngest Black woman to raise over, I think like 3 million in venture capital. So she's pretty well versed in terms of entrepreneurship. CBRE, I'm excited because they were here last year and they're going to be virtually joining us, and you'll be learning about What is a university internship? This is very important and part of your university experience is to try to get a paid internship. So those interns are going to be talking about what it's like to spend a summer, in college working for a company and some tips and tricks for you. And then our last group of speakers will be from Meta, which is formerly Facebook, the big data center there in Fort Worth. Those women will be coming out and talk to you about what is a data center, what do they do, how is our data stored, and how is our data used. And they'll also be participating in the pitch judging contest. So looking forward to those speakers. All right, who am I turning it back over to? Is it Annika?
Yes.
Okay.
For community showcase, which is where you'll be able to see the girls' capstone and what they've been learning throughout the week, it will be at DJ Kelly Alumni and Visitors Center, which is highlighted on the map. And of course, all of this information will be provided on that RSVP link. Our graduation luncheon will also be at the same place and will take place from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And our guest speaker, Misaki, can help me out on this because I don't have her bio in front of me, but Miss Romelia Flores, she works for IBM, and one of her the main highlights about her that makes her stand out is that she patented all of her technology that she uses at IBM, and she has over 70 patents. And it kind of just shows that even though she works for this big company, she's able to still maintain some ownership of the technology that she's creating for her company.
She's an amazing, amazing woman. Definitely someone that we all need to know. So Ms. Hovey, I think there are a couple questions in the chat. If we could go back to the schedule, Annika. Oh, there's one question in the chat.
I'm sorry, is it about the room check-in? You are on mute.
That would be a problem. It says, what time is signing in on July 16th and what time is orientation July 16th? There might be some confusion there. So
let me just pull that information up.
oh, it's right there. So check-in is right there on the schedule. On the 16th.
Okay, yeah. Yes. So we do have check-in at 4 o'clock. So if you arrive promptly at that time, now please keep in mind that for the check-in, it'll be expedited if you already come with your COVID tests. If you do not have that COVID test, one is required before checking in and going into the dorms. So there might be a little bit of lag if you have to do the on-site, bring your own test. But yeah, promptly at 4 o'clock, we'll be outside of the dorms ready for that.
Okay. Any other questions? There's a question from Ashley. What kind of food will be served? Well, there'll probably be some type of catered through the university. I think last year we did like nice sandwiches or assortment of sandwiches and some different types of salads. I don't know if that's what they meant by that, but in terms of meals, you will be eating in a dining hall. So there's a variety of meals options, vegetarian, there's a hamburger station, it's pizza, like TCU is not running short on resources, okay? So you will have many options in terms of food to choose from. Ms. Hovey, there's a question, what happens if we do end up leaving our rooms?
Are you referring to breaking the seal after 10 p.m.?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so I think a conversation will need to be had as to what was the circumstance, and also if there was an attempt to reach the site director or a volunteer coordinator, just to make sure that there's a reason for leaving. So we'll have that discussion. If it is someone who just happens to break that seal for, let's say, fun, like to sneak out or to do something like that, I'll have to have a parent conference about that. Thank you.
Okay, let's keep it moving. We're ready to go forward with some of our rituals and traditions. We're going to kick it off with Allison.
Yes, so these are the 8 keys of excellence. These were designed by the Quantum Learning Network with the purpose of building character in your students by having them realize their greatness. And we will kind of expand more into this. So I will be explaining each one of the keys, and you can watch Miss Saki to do the motions. So first, we have integrity. We align our actions with our values. A person of integrity constantly follows a strict code of personal values in a way that demonstrates more excellence. Failure leads to success. We see our failures as feedback. We can learn from our mistakes and make the changes needed to be more successful in the future. Speak with good purpose. To be positive with our language. When there is a problem, avoid gossip by communicating with the person directly involved. This is it. To focus our attention on the present moment. Make whatever we're doing at any given time the most important. Commitment. To do what we set out to do. When we live a life of commitment, we have the discipline to follow through with our commitments to others and to ourselves, even when it's challenging. Ownership. To take responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Ownership is knowing that we can't always control what happens, but we can control how we respond. Flexibility. To change our actions to get the desired outcome. Flexibility allows us multiple ways to get the result.
I'm
Balance.
stretching if you can't see it. Allison's reading fast, but I'm trying to do the motion. So flexibility, you actually just kind of stretch like you're stretching your leg in a runner's lunge. Okay, go ahead, Allison. The next one.
Balance. To make the choices in our life that provide lasting fulfillment. Inner happiness comes from making choices that fill up our body, mind, and spirit. And that was the last one.
Okay, those are our 8 keys of excellence. Let's do the motions really quickly. If you could go back just for a second, we're going to go through the motions really quickly. Okay, so balance, your arms are straight out. Speak with good purpose, just tap your nose and go upward. We fell forward. Commitment, strong, give us strength. Integrity, your hands are over your head. That's your guiding compass. I think I misspoke. Failure leads to success is this one, right? Speak with good purposes like this, so my apologies. Ownership, give yourself a big hug. Flexibility, that's like you're kind of stretching if you're in the runner's lunge. And then this is it, just put your finger under your chin and we want you to live in the moment. Okay, thank you, Allison.
Okay, we have a few different other awards that we do throughout the week. The first one is Put a Ring on It, which is given out by mentors, as are most of these. Put a Ring on It is basically if we're seeing any gem who is doing something particularly exceptional or is really exemplifying the our as the gem camp core values or beliefs, mentors will give them a little ring and it lights up and they can wear it and show that they have been living up to the standards that we want them to. The 5 Carat Awards will be given out at graduation and they are given in collaboration with site staff and mentors. And there are 5 different ones. First is the pearl, which is a sense of effort. Pearls are known for their natural beauty and symbolize purity and innocence. This award is given to the gem who displays a natural curiosity for the world around her and a youthful desire to learn throughout the camp. A pearl will ask questions when she doesn't understand, actively participates in class, and intentionally practices 3 of the 8 keys of excellence and takes extra steps to learn more about a topic in or outside of class. The next award is an emerald, which signifies a sense of hope, as the emerald has long been thought of as a symbol of hope and considered to be a stone of of prophecy. And in addition to all of the pearl qualities, this award is earned by a gem who displays a great sense of hope that she and others do all things, including being an academic scholar, with hard work, determination, perseverance, and faith. And on top of possessing all of the pearl qualities, emeralds have a positive attitude and encourage those around her to excel. Have never.
I'm sorry, Annika. I'm going to interrupt. I didn't mean for you to read them. Just speak to them.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't make that clear. Go ahead. You're doing great.
Well, there are three more, the sapphire, ruby, and diamond, and they all compound on each other. So a diamond would have all of the characteristics of all of the rest of them. And the gem of the day is someone that the staff kind of elects to be like seen as a role model who is following their 8 keys, who's been really well in class, practicing slant, all the stuff that we as staff hope that GEMS will exhibit on a day-by-day basis, and that's why we award it. Ms. Hovey, I think. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Now we're talking about living above the line. This is really our way of encouraging all GEMS to have that proper mindset and approach in everything that they do. So instead of creating excuses, we want to make sure that we set new goals. And it really just ties back to how we determine those 5K awards. Thank you. Another aspect of this is slant. And so many of you have seen this in the classroom in one time or another. And slant stands for sitting up straight, leaning forward towards the speaker, asking and answering questions, nodding your head, and tracking the speaker with your eyes. And the purpose of slant is really for us to have that high expectation in the level of engagement in the class. So this is not only what we expect, but it is what we inspect. So our mentors, that's what they're looking for when we talk about engagement. And this is exactly what it looks like. Being attentive, sitting up straight, making sure that you're nodding. And although you may not be participating by raising your hand or speaking out, it's the nodding in agreement with what is being said. And so we know that you are not only listening, but you are agreeing with what the speaker is saying. Thank you.
So morning and afternoon bling, some of the returning GEMS are familiar with this, but some of you new GEMS may have never heard of our GEMS pep rallies. So morning bling, that is our way to start the day. We cheer on our GEMS, all the mentors and staff, they have noisemakers, we cheer, we have a morning bling anthem, which is Let's Get Loud. We recite our mission statement. We go over any announcements or housekeeping for the day. We go over the schedule just so GEMS are familiar with what's going to be happening. We review expectations just to maintain the expectations. Reminders about project work and what the GEMS need. Q&A if anyone has any questions about the day or the previous day. And announce the gem of the day, which is what we talked about earlier. Afternoon flow, this is where it's basically the same as morning bling, just in the afternoon. We welcome our campers in, we cheer them on, we review the day. It's kind of like what I call it, a brain dump, where everyone just kind of shares their opinions and thoughts of the day. We discuss our expectation for the evening work and the evening schedule. Reminders for the next day, so they know what's happening in the future. Again, another Q&A, and we announce our Put a Ring on It and our 8 Keys of Excellence awards.
The daily feedback form is another thing that mentors will handle. It's a form that basically has like a big box, and it has like one for career, creativity, leadership, service, and so on and so forth. And it's a way for mentors to talk about like how your gem has been doing in each of these classes, if they're practicing slant, and it gives a really good overview of their day, and it'll be very specific. It'll have all of the awards that they earned, anything that they did that stands out in class. And this is something that is like kind of regular communication between you and your mentor, or your child's mentor, which should really help you understand what your gem is doing throughout the day. And it'll be a point of reference for your gem, to know that like how they're doing, and for you to know how they're doing and making sure that they're enjoying their time and learning.
Awesome. So now we're going to transition to a little breakout rooms just to get you familiar with Teams. If you are signed in as a guest, you won't be able to do this. So you're going to sit tight right here in this room with Ms. Hove. Okay, so don't freak out if you can't go to the stream. It's totally okay. Annika, if you can let me share my screen, please. Okay. All right. So you're going to be able to see your stream here on the left. And what we want is for grade 7 students to follow Allison into the grade 7 math, grade 7 leadership team. 8th grade, you're going to follow Annika into the grade 8 leadership team. And then grade 9, you're going to follow me into the leadership grade 9. So 8th grade, 7th grade, Allison, leadership, G7, 8th grade, leadership, G8, 9th grade, leadership, G9. If you can't do it, don't freak out. You're going to stay put right here with Ms. Hove and get some more questions answered. Okay, so Allison and Annika, if we can go to our breakout teams and see if people find us. Okay.
Hi, could you please repeat the name of the person we're looking for grade 8?
Annika.
Annika, okay.
Yeah. Annika Sinha, I believe it's something.
Who are we looking for grade 9?
That's Miss Saki.
Okay, just making sure.
And then Miss Allison is for 7th grade.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I signed in as a guest, but I'm a student.
Okay, no worries. That just means that on this Teams call, you won't be able to go into those rooms since you won't have the files under your account. That's okay. Basically, what they're doing right now is giving you a tour of Teams and what that looks like. Off to the side, you would have a team that is for the GEMS camp. And when you go into that team, you'll be able to go into like your math class for grade 6, 7, or not, I'm sorry, for 7, 8, or 9. And once you go in there, you'll be able to see also a calendar, and the calendar pretty much tells you your schedule. So it's a big calendar where things are dropped in electronically. And then if you click on it, it could link you to documents. There's also assignments, and that's where you're going to be dropping in your classwork. But all of it right now was just a tour. There'll still be other times where we can show you this during orientation, but this is just so you start getting a feel for what you're going to see.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I also have a question.
Yes, of course.
Hi. So I had to sign in as a guest today because my password wasn't working for the email I was given. So
Okay.
I could get my password fixed because I tried to sign into Teams, but it didn't let me.
Okay, can you give me your first and last name, please, or drop it in the chat?
Queen Naraya Bello.
Queen Naraya Bella.
Bello. Sorry.
Bellows.
No.
Okay.
Oh, like just Bello. Bello.
Bello. Got it. Okay, so I'll put an asterisk by your name so we can check your password and if we need to reset it, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my team did great. We all made it.
I also have a question. The same thing happened with me. I couldn't log in to this meeting with my account. Yeah.
Okay, are you a returning gem?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things about with our returning gems is that their passwords were reset a little bit after the new accounts were created. So there might be a little bit of lag time since that was done either yesterday or today. I will put this on our radar to make sure we double check it. And as we send out more communication, give it a day or so for it to catch up. And then we should have new passwords reset for all returning gems.
All right, thank you.
Okay, did everybody make it back? Allison, are you back? Annika, are you back?
I was supposed to be in the grade 9 meeting,
Okay.
but I can't seem to find it.
Okay, we'll send a text to Allison. We'll talk about that in a second. So you just drop it in the chat right there, okay? Okay, Annika, if you can bring back up the presentation, that'd be great.
Okay, thanks. So most of us have already transitioned back from the breakout rooms. Once again, we will be doing more work around resetting those passwords. So, do not get too worried. But just to sum it all up, we really want to make sure that you have submitted all required forms for orientation. It's very important that we have the funding in place. So as much as that you can do before check-in date would really help to have a smooth process when you check in. Remember that the expectation is that 100% of that payment is due by check-in time. We do have a parent group me that we will be using, so you can text me directly. I've also given you my phone number. I'd like to reserve the phone number for those emergencies, just because when you have all these numbers calling in, I want to make sure that I don't think that you're one of those spam calls, okay? So I will be sharing that link a little bit after. Now, for my gems, if you are going to need a device so that you can access your Microsoft Teams and do all those things and turning your assignments, then please note this tiny URL for a GEMS device and put in a request form. I would like the request forms to be in by Friday, July 7th, so that we can plan accordingly. Remember, there will be a packing list and a student manual uploaded to Teams, so it's really important that you have a solid device that's very reliable. If that's not the case, then please make sure that you fill out that loaner request. Remember, you are the responsible party, so you will see a little acknowledgement statement at the end of that URL. Your mentor will check in with you by July 8th, and you will have room assignments sent to you by Monday, July 10th. That is a hard deadline for the room assignments, again, because TCU needs a code for every key that is given out. And so once those things are solidified, they are solidified completely, okay? And then also, just to reiterate about the COVID test, I know we had talked about checking in. I'm sorry, I gave a little misinformation. We are not doing those protocols this year. So in previous years, you might have had to have that COVID test before entering the camp. We're not doing that. But again, if there is a fever, that's when we're going to be precautious and make sure that you are not around other people, since we are sharing dorms. Okay, thank you. Next slide. So here's the parent communication group me. You can add it by going to tinyurl.com/gemsgroupme, or just simply scan it. And this is, we have about 60 families that will ideally be joining this. So I just want to make sure we set some norms to have a pleasant experience. We want to make sure that if you're going to engage in the group, that we keep it and we're mindful around the times of 8 to 8. That does not mean you cannot communicate with me directly. You can still send me a personal message or direct message through the app, but what is sent out to the mass text, I just want to make sure that we're mindful of the time. So remember, everything that you post on there does go to the entire group. We want to keep traffic low. So some good questions is, when do the girls go or break for lunch? What is not an appropriate question for the mass text would be like, can I go eat lunch with Ruby today? So that would be something that you want to send me directly. Remember that we just always want to communicate with kindness and respect. And the more of that traffic that is not necessarily powerful information for every person, the more that people are likely to mute and miss some important information. And so I want to just make sure that we're mindful on that group me. Thank you. And then that takes us to the packing list. And then the packing list is very important. My biggest takeaway from this is just to emphasize packing light. Be mindful of your valuables. I know some of you want to bring your gold jewelry or money. Just be mindful, we are sharing a space. We are in dorms. Be really intentional about what items are the ones that you are going to bring. You don't want to overpack when you're sharing this very small dorm space, right? We do have a washer and dryer on site, and like they said earlier, the gems are not allowed to wash. If something needs to be washed, we will be taking care of it, or if there's some kind of emergency and a mentor can do it for you. But we really want to make sure that we're packing just the essentials, and we've done our best to have an extensive list of what that is. I also want you to be mindful of the space that we're sharing. This is a layout right here. If you go to TCU's website and you look up our specific dorm hall, you can actually see what it looks like, so you can get a feel for the space. It's really nice. You have 2 beds in one space. Then there's like a shared restroom area, and it's connected so that it forms like a pod of 4 people. There's trash that takes place, right? We each get 1 large trash bag. You do need to take your trash out nightly. There are fines whenever we have excessive trash or we don't dispose of it properly. On every floor, there will be like a trash room or trash chute for you to use. You do have to be responsible for your own room keys. For example, if you lose your room key, there is a $75 fine. So you want to make sure you're just responsible while you're also enjoying the camp. I know that also emergencies may happen and you plan on being at the camp. If for any reason any of the gems cannot attend, even if it's just, a week out, please let us know, because by July 10th, we do have to pay for every spot that we have handed out. And so we want to make sure that before July 10th, we get the best accurate number for that, or else we will get charged still. Okay. Are there any questions about the packing list? Uh-oh. Let me see.
There's a question. What is an example of emergency to wash clothes?
Yeah, so for example, if you only brought, let's say, the 3 pairs of bottoms and you plan to reuse 1 pair, but you've already just completely got something messy on them and you don't have an extra bottom to wear, let me know. I could run something in the wash for you, especially if like it's that time of the month and something happens and you were counting on that 1 more pair of clothes, or if it's what you were going to wear to graduation and you spilled something on it the night before. Things like that. It's just on a case-by-case basis, but please let me know. Please do not go down to the wash area and try to do it yourself, okay? Are you only allowed to bring 1 bag? Ms. Saki, is it only 1 bag or just these items?
I'm not sure what they mean by 1 bag. You mean like a suitcase? Yeah, okay, she's saying yes. No, you can, bring multiple bags. I think that just keep in mind, everything you bring, you gotta unbring, right, with you, and it'll be hot moving in. The room does have a little fridge, so of course bring snacks, beverages, things like that for your room. Some kids bring like a little cooler, a little radio. It's really up to you to make it your own space. So, if it requires 3 bags, then, it requires 3 bags, but obviously that's up to you and how much you want to pack up at the end when you're ready to go home. Specific to graduation attire, we usually, historically and traditionally, we wear black, as much black as possible. It's a little bit dressier because you're receiving certificates and awards and things of that nature. But you can, obviously, if you don't have any black, we're not saying going out and go shopping and buy something new, but just try to be as more black, you know, as you can. Parents, just to emphasize, make sure you have the right twin size bed sheets. There are, the twin XL is the size of the TCU bed. So just make sure you get the longer twin sheet. I just want to reinforce that. You got to bring a small purse or belt. Yes, I'm gonna have my little fanny pack that, you know, tie around my, but yes, of course, you can bring purses. You'll have a swag bag that you can keep things in. That's all really up to you. Just keep in mind it's hot and we have to walk from the dorm to the dining hall to our classes to the rec center. Like there's quite a bit of walking. TCU is a nice sized campus. Are there microwaves in the dorm room? This I don't remember. Annika, Betsy, does anyone remember from last year if there was a microwave on top of that little fridge?
Yes, there was.
Okay, thank you. There's also a common area in the dormitory, like a little kitchen, so there's a microwave there too. Any other questions about rooms?
And also, as questions arise, like make sure that you're on that group me, and that's a great way to just ask it in the group or send me a direct message.
Right. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. We will put that packing list in Teams under the general channel. So once you get access to Teams and you log in, you will go to the TCU 2023 in general. You will see the packing list loaded there. We'll also put this presentation in the Teams channel as well. That's an incentive for you to figure out your team situation. The recording of this meeting is automatically, anytime you get onto Teams, it's gonna record. That's the way we have it set up, and it'll go straight to the stream that you were in. So right now we're in the TCU 2023. So when you log in, you will see the actual recording from orientation. There is a link as well that we will send out in the newsletter following up with this. But here are your points of contact. These are your people. This is your leadership team. I'm really excited. I have never been more impressed with a group of people who were mostly new in terms of their way to ramp up really quickly. So Ms. Hove is the site director. Please don't contact me about the group me and early pickup and all of that, because I'm just going to send you right to Miss Hobie. I know some of these families, you've known me for years, but I'm not the person to be going through. We pay Miss Hobie to do her job, and we want to give her that honor and respect. Again, join the group me. A lot of your questions are going to be addressed right there. If you have a question in your mind, chances are another parent has the same question. So take advantage of that. If you have questions regarding your technology, I just saw someone in the poll, I can't get into my Teams. These, if you're a student, these questions are for Allison Gonzalez, who is our lead intern. She has created your passwords. She has set up your accounts. So everything should be working if you follow the steps that I've sent out. If you already have like a Dallas ISD Teams account or some other account that you're logged into, you're going to have to log out of that first to be able to get into our Teams accounts. Yes, there are closets in the dormitories. Yes, in the rooms. There's plenty of space in those rooms. So, let's see what else. Trying to think of anything else. Annika is more about room assignments, questions about your mentor. You should hear from your mentor by July 8th. Okay, we've already done our assignments. So you should be hearing from your mentor via text message, most likely. Very, very shortly. Okay. And your mentor is meant to be your first line of contact. Any other questions? Oh yeah, contact me. payments, scholarship assistance. I know some people still had questions about that. Any of your forms, send all that to info. You don't need to check with me to say, hey, did you get my forms? If you send it to info@thegymscamp.org, that sends it to info. It also sends me a carbon copy, so I'll know what's received. All right. I'm just going to ask the team to come off mute, and if people have specific questions, now will be a good time, but we're at the end of our agenda. We covered everything.
Hi, when will airplane flights be confirmed for the ones of us flying to Dallas?
Who was that?
Me, Miranda Munoz.
Oh, so that's a separate conversation that you and I need to have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Try to get that taken care of this weekend. Sorry, I've been at a whole nother camp, and I've been gone pretty much all the month of June, so it's been kind of crazy.
Thank you.
All right. If you have other questions, we'll just hang tight for another like 5 minutes. And if you feel like all of your questions have been addressed, you feel free to head on out. At the beginning, I did put a poll up there. See where it went. So if you could, in one word, just kind of describe how your feelings about camp. Not sure why you can't get into the group meet, but if you scan the QR code, you download the app, you should be able to join it. So
Yeah, and I'll stick around after for those of you who can't get in the group meet, because I do have 9 people in so far. So I'll stick around after.
Miss Milton.
Yes.
Hi, this is Mrs. Simmons from YWCPA. Hi.
Yes.
Just wondering I just sent Ms. Burrell an email wanting to see if we can possibly sort of meet, if you have some time to meet with us for a few minutes to kind of finalize some of our logistics about our travel here in the next week or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, absolutely. I know, Ms. Hove, you're still on vacation. Depending, I forget when you're back, but depending on when you might want to push into that meeting, because there is quite a big group coming in from Houston on a charter bus.
Yes.
Oh, and shout out to the Young Women's Preparatory Network. Those girls, we have quite a few girls, Talkington, Irma, Fort Worth Leadership, Aldine, like so many schools across the state. And we want to say a special thank you because they take care of their travel expenses as well as their tuition. And that is a huge benefit. So all of our young women's, young ladies, we do expect you to write a thank you letter. Just for them to do that, because they don't have to do that. And we don't have any other school districts providing that. So yes, let's meet to figure out what those logistics would look like.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The application forms are different from the forms attached to your email that have been to be filled out. I don't know if I understand that question. An application is to apply to the program. The forms, I'm just assuming that this is what this meant. Forms are actual waivers, giving your permission to have your photography taken, FERPA, right, which is your information is shared with us, medical waiver. Can't think of what other field trip waiver form. Actually, you're asking about a QR code. QR code for what?
If we could go back to slide 48 for the parent communication for the
okay.
for the group me.
Annika, can you go back to that one? That seems to be the hot topic, Ruby. So thank you, Raven. We miss you. I can't wait to see you. Okay. I'm gonna see if what message are they getting? Miss Hove, because I'm gonna
I'm
see
not
if I
I keep getting the we're unable to load the conversation with the GroupMe app, and I don't know if it's because I'm logged into one from last year or what. I don't know.
No, I'm getting the same error, and I haven't had any issue. I've joined a couple other group meets today, so I think it's maybe something with the settings that's not allowing new members to join. So maybe updating that will allow us to actually to use the QR code.
So
Okay,
this should be a new, yeah, this should be new.
yeah, for those that did get in, did it just automatically let you join the group, or did y'all have to answer some questions? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was automatic. I don't know, maybe because like some people have the app, and if you have the app, it's just directly letting you go in, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
You know, I
Yeah,
have the
I'm
app. Is
gonna
anybody
try.
not on staff in
Yeah, I have
our
the app,
area?
and I was just thinking maybe because I have the GroupMe from Jim's from last year, maybe. I don't know, but it's just telling me that it's unable to load the conversation. I have the GroupMe app. I don't know what's going on with it.
I'm gonna try to add it because I'm never in the group me, but I'm gonna try to add it right now. So I'm trying to add mine through Facebook.
I'll try to send the link that GroupMe uses, and maybe that'll work. Give me 1 second.
Yes, instead of the tiny URL, that'd be great.
Can someone try that link that I just sent?
It might have worked. There's 2 more people in now. We're up to 12 now.
I'm about to be number 13. I got a feeling.
You can always be on it, and then later if you need to be removed.
Oh, I'm gonna remove myself immediately. I just want to.
I know.
It's too much chatter for me. If you can't get into your Gems Camp Gmail at this point, it's probably because you didn't log in within the 24-hour window of when I sent out the notification. So your account will have to be reset. And we'll give it a deadline of 5 p.m. tomorrow. to try to log in because it will take a minute. Okay. So what is the password, Annika, for Gmail? Because I sent out a newsletter today that had this particular password.
Yeah, because I don't think I like reset the password, so I wanted them to double check with Capital Gems 2023. Yeah, I can't remember if I changed it to the one that we've been using for Teams. But Teams, they should be able to use that because I didn't create their Teams account. I think that was Allison and she used that.
Okay, so you should be able to get into Teams. Try this for Gmail if the first one doesn't work. And then if you're still having trouble, just email Allison. We kind of wanted to have all the passwords be the same, like just to make it easier. So,
Yeah, I had created that without asking you if there was a password that you were using before. So that's on my end. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay, any other questions?
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Emisha. I'm Carson Allen's mom. I just had a quick question. The groups that they're in, like for the breakout groups, Carson was in G8. Is that based on the grade level they just completed or the grade level they're going to next?
The grade
Okay,
they're
she's going to-
rising. She was in 8th grade?
Yes.
Okay, so she should be, I think we have Carson, hang on. We place the girls into the grades they are rising into. So let me just look.
We have Carson as grade 8.
Okay, so she needs to be moved to the 9th grade group. Is that right, Mom? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Right.
So before we leave, I have one last question. What did you say about the email again? You're gonna reset it? About resetting it?
I said if you, yeah, go ahead, Miss Ruby.
We said that if they're having issues with it, one, either they were newly reset passwords. So let's give it a day. We'll check back in tomorrow by 5 p.m. Also, there's 2 potential passwords that could work. If they're not working, it's typically because they didn't meet the initial deadline when the account was created. And so it went inactive and we'll need to reset the password again. So tomorrow by 5 p.m., if that's still the case, that's when you can shoot us an email with your name and then we'll know we have to reset you specifically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, and Felicity want to make sure that she's in the group with the 9th graders. I don't know. But I believe she is.
Is she supposed to be?
Yes, she's going to 9th grade.
Yeah, that's what it shows.
Okay.
Felicity Lockett.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, you're in 9th grade. Yes. Thank you, ladies.
You're very welcome. Okay, one more minute and then we'll be. Yes, go ahead.
I'm trying to make a payment to the, let's see, which method am I trying to use? The electronic payment method. And let me go back and check one more time. I thought it told me it was an invalid email address. Let me double check before I say that. Yvette.
I think it's Yvette.
It has IVETTE at the gemscamp.org. I just copied and pasted it, but it didn't seem to work for the method of zip.
Where did on the the information from the newsletters and the acceptance letters, you should be using only the payment information on those. So hang on.
I get this from the email today, the 1:24 p.m. email.
Okay, that may, that might, let's go, let me pull up an acceptance letter because that's the right.
Okay, I'll search for that.
Hang on just a second to acceptance. TCU. A second.
Oh.
Okay, so you're trying to use Zelle or PayPal, which one?
Zelle.
Zelle is info@thegymscamp.org.
Okay.
Yeah, that should work. If you're doing PayPal, it's gymscamp@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll try that one. Thank you.
I'm going to drop this in the chat just in case, because people can still have access to that. Sorry about that. Hey, anything else?
We're not muted. Oh.
There's nothing else. I think we're done here.
Thank you, ladies and families. It was so great meeting you.
Thank you all. Great job. Ms. Hove, Allison, Betsy, and Annika, thank you. This was really good. All right, I'm going to end the recording, and again, we'll be sending that out. Okay, thank you. Oh, if y'all can just stay on the team really quickly.